Today on Locked On Rockies, that's pretty interesting.
You are Locked On Rockies, your daily Colorado Rockies podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Rock on Rockies fans, welcome into the Locked On Rockies podcast for today, the 30th day of August in the year 2022. I am your Rockies fan extraordinaire, Paul Holden, bringing you your daily Colorado Rockies talk right here on the Locked On Rockies podcast, on the Locked On Podcast Network, where you can find your team every day. We're free and streaming on your favorite streaming service. All you got to do is search Locked On Rockies, and you're going to be taken to where you need to go. You can also find us free and streaming on YouTube, and you can be part of the show and know when we go live. And today on Locked On Rockies, we are talking about the big Rockies news. The Rockies are calling up one of their top prospects. Michael Toglia is now with the club. He is in the starting lineup in what was honestly kind of an interesting move. I didn't think that the Rockies were going to pull the trigger this fast, but I kind of like that they are. You might as well see everything you got. Evaluate the farm and give them as many people a chance as you can at this level. One of the quick things that I noticed, one of the quick reactions was from Nick Groke over there at The Athletic, saying two things to watch. This is from NGROKE over there on Twitter. Two things to watch with Toglia being called up to the majors. He's supposed to be the best defensive first baseman the Rockies have had since Todd Helton, and some say the best first baseman in general the Rockies have had since Todd Helton. How good is his defense going to be during his time with the Rockies? And the second thing is he's striking out a ton. 30% strikeout range rate for Toglia this season in the minors, and it's not going to get any better. And apparently, and according to Nick there, he has been striking out more of late as well. It's going to be, maybe this is just the dip of the toe, the first exposure, the real experience to kind of help Toglia get his mind set and see what it is. At this point now and going forward, Toglia is going to be able to say, I've seen major league pitching. I have been in a major league situation. I got called up and I can see. Toglia still probably has time for his development and things that he might still need to go down there. But with him being 24 years old, he needs to be a little bit quicker. Being one of the deeper college picks that the Rockies have had and him having the experience in college, he should be someone that should be ready to go. And this is the prime type of example of how you can see what Toglia needs to do and where he's going to struggle as a major league player. The Rockies officially eliminated from the NL West title for the 30th time now. And every time the Rockies have existed, they still don't have their title. You're not going in the playoff hunt. Things haven't been going that well. Bring him up. He's going up against a tough pitcher tonight and a tough team. Let's see what's happening. I want the Rockies to do this with most prospects, whether they are pitchers in the field. If they are at least MLB ready, at least a chance to take a chance, give it a shot. See what you can do. Bring people up, bring people down. Unfortunately, bringing someone up like Toglia means that the feel-good story of Winton Bernard ends, and who knows what we'll see of that. But, I mean, eventually we knew that was coming. But this is the right move for the Rockies. It doesn't necessarily, as long as Toglia is getting playing time and as long as he is getting at-bats and he's actively being a part of the game, this is a good idea. It's a good idea for the Rockies to see what they have in some of these exciting prospects. And Toglia and Montero are two of the ones that you definitely want to see. Those are two players that you are counting on in your future. Now let's see what they look like on the field together. Let's see what they look like on the field, as major league ball players. And let's see what Toglia does during this stint with the Rockies. This is a good move. This is a way to evaluate your talent. This is a way to see more, and this is a good idea. There's nothing to lose by bringing up some of your prospects. If you're losing games or this or that, most of the players have a lot of at-bats. Most of the players have contracts that are under control or have things that they are going to be able to to figure out, with their careers. Now's an opportunity for the Rockies to see more of what they have at the minor league level and what are going to be coming up soon, so they can have a better understanding of what they need to do and what they need to address in the offseason. I know I'm already asking the Rockies front office to be proactive and do stuff in the offseason and think about stuff. I know that's a step ahead that we might be getting ahead of ourselves there, but this is a move that it will be interesting for the Rockies. And again, another way to kind of draw interest, keep things a little bit interesting for the Rockies and keep those who are paying attention looking at and seeing what this move means for the Rockies. It's something that kind of brings it's something that popped up, and I immediately was like, oh, that's something interesting, because the Rockies again in this struggle patch. But Toglia just had that monster day down in Albuquerque where he had 3 home runs in that game. But again, I am worried about strikeouts. Striking out is something that we've seen a lot of, and I know that there's been a lot of conversation about the strikeout and the philosophy of hitting. I think is shifting back. Strikeouts are just so bad, and the Rockies already strike out too much and can't really deal and can't have a lot more strikeout. When you're going up against teams like the Braves in this series, for example, you're going to need to take advantage of every single opportunity. But now Toglia is able at least to see what it means and what it's going to take to be a Major League Baseball player. And I think this is a good move here. A little bit more from MLBTradeRumors.com. Toglia was a first-round pick, being selected 23rd overall by the Rockies in 2019. He landed on Baseball America's list of top Colorado farmhands in 2020 and has been there ever since. He got into 41 games at Low A the year of the draft, but missed out on formal game action in 2020 when the pandemic canceled the minor league seasons. Getting back into action last year, the switch hitter split his time between High A and Double A, hitting 22 home runs and stealing 10 bases in 115 games. Overall, he hit .228, .333, and .445, walking in an impressive 13% of his plate appearances, but also striking out in 28.5% of them. In 2022, he's produced fairly similar results while splitting his time between AA and AAA. In 114 games between those two levels, he's hit 30 long balls and swiped 7 bags. His .249, .341, .510 batting line comes with a 12.1% walk rate, but a 30.1% walkout rate. Despite that high strikeout approach, he's still been 24% above average at the plate for the year, as evidenced by his 124 WRC+. That's going to be the big focal point there. You can't be striking out at a 30% clip in Major League Baseball. It ain't going to work. You're not going to be able to even keep your good numbers if you're at those good numbers and be contributing at this level if you're striking out at a 30% clip. I'm encouraged that he's also taking walks. Maybe, though, with the strikeouts, he's being aggressive on the pitches. That he needs to work on pitch selection, maybe it sounds like. If he's able to draw walks, if he can draw some walks, but he's still striking out a lot, what pitches is he missing? Is it a lot of swing and misses? Is it a lot of taking strikes and not seeing pitches that are close on the corners or in the zone? Things of that nature. That's some stuff to talk about there. But good move, an exciting move for the Rockies, an exciting move there for Toglia. Keep talking about this and what it means for the Rockies here. But before we do that, as you gear up for fall, you need the right people on your team to help your small business fire on all cylinders. LinkedIn Jobs is here to make it easier to find the people you want to talk to faster and for free. Create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 810 million people. Then add your job in the purple hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring so your network can help you find the right people to hire. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. That's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedonmlb. That's linkedin.com/lockedonmlb to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. Over here in the live chat, Trevor Salzman says, if Toglia performs well the next few weeks, he will definitely give the front office something to think about about moving forward with Cron, Montero, and McMahon. That's really the interesting wrinkle here. Is Tolia's promotion is a little bit faster than I thought it was going to come. The Rockies are now entering this interesting situation of what they are going to do with that group of players. These are the players that are most directly impacted, and I kind of have an idea of what I think is going to happen. I think you're going to see McMahon slide potentially over to shortstop. You're going to see Montero play third. Cron and Toglia will navigate first base with a little bit of DHing in between. And you're still going. What does that mean for Charlie Blackmon? More right field. Cron's going to get an off day when Charlie's doing the DHing and things of that nature. We've seen Cron cool off as well, so you don't have to keep his bat in there, even though he's still the Rockies he's still the Rockies statistical leader in some categories in hitting. But in terms of what the Rockies are going to do next, it is going to be really interesting, the approach. If Toglia is playing well, if his development's there, what does that mean for CJ Cron? Is it another example of why are the Rockies bringing up Toglia right now? And if they say sold at the deadline and moved Cron, did they still have this idea all along, or did it take Toglia hitting 3 home runs in a game, the Rockies going through a tough stretch, being officially eliminated from the division, and all of this stuff, to then decide to bring up Toglia? That's part of the story, the timeline, and something you kind of have to ask and kind of have to wonder, because if the Rockies were confident in Toglia and felt like bringing him up, it's another reason why doing nothing at the deadline was a mistake. You have people that can play first base. In fact, that's a way you can get Montero and McMahon into the games at the same time and both in the infield. I like the fact that Montero, I don't care where it is, I want Montero on the field. At bats, at bats, at bats, at bats. Montero needs every at bat possible for the rest of the season. Montero needs to be playing as much as possible. I don't care if he's slumping. I don't care if he's on a hot streak. I just want rep after rep after rep after rep for Montero, who's clearly the Rockies prospect most closest to making an impact, a major impact at the major league level. The same can go for Toglia. If he starts playing, if he swings well, if he has a good approach, we need to see as much of him as possible. And if he's got this high strikeout rate, if we're worried about Toglia's approach against major league pitching, and that's going to be something that's going to be a key focus of him and his development, then the Rockies need to make sure that he is seeing as much major league pitching as possible. The reps are so important. We've seen it time after time again with Rockies prospects of them not getting enough time. And then when they get time, they play well. They show up. We saw it with Brendan Rodgers. We've seen it in flashes with McMahon. We've seen it with Montero this year. If you're going to call up someone like Toglia, he needs to play. That does impact a big part of your roster construction and your DH. The philosophy of really whose bat is more important. And I'd say right now it's more important to get Charlie Blackmon's bat in the game versus CJ Cron's. But if you look at the lineup tonight, Blackmon's getting the off day. Maybe he was playing yesterday, but maybe 2 days in a row off. A little helpful for Blackmon. All sorts of stuff. But I'm just saying, I don't want to see Toglia just sit on the bench. I don't want to have it take 3 call-ups for Toglia to get consistent time starting, especially if he's going to be a benefit on defense, and especially if he can help the team on defense. And now, if you have a better defensive first baseman, what could that have meant earlier in the year with some of the Rockies' defensive struggles? What can that mean for the Rockies to not be as bad defensively next year? And how much time are you actually going to give him to get those reps? Simple analysis, I know, but it's something that we kind of have to talk about because we've seen multiple times with the Rockies it not happen. And we've seen the Rockies be much more successful when they let some of these top prospects play. These are the type of players that are in the Rockies system to be excited about. And these are the type of players that we need to watch and need to get opportunities in what is a lost season. Now, I don't think he's going to immediately come in and wash away what CJ Cron brings to your team. CJ Cron plays a fine defense. CJ Cron provides a big boost to your offense, and CJ Cron is still under team control. So I think you're still going to see Toglia take a backup role. Obviously, he's the younger guy. We're going to see more of Cron in the day to day. But I'd like to be seeing Toglia play 2-3 times a week, at least for the rest of the season, depending on how long he's up. I'd really like to see him in as many games as possible, and I hope with this roster construction that is going to be it. Because I was mentioning, we were talking about the roster construction and saying McMahon going to shortstop. Well, you're not going to not have Jose Iglesias play. I was kind of saying more big picture, because I don't necessarily, what Jose Iglesias doesn't make sense to re-sign. I'm thinking he can make, he's clearly shown that he's still got some valuable baseball, still can contribute. He can go elsewhere. He probably might go elsewhere. Some other teams might be interested in him and might be a little bit closer looking for a shortstop. And the Rockies can move McMahon over there, let Montero play third, and then have Toglia and CJ Cron play the majority of your first base. But that Jose Iglesias is another person that factors into this, especially with Toglia for the rest of the season. Because here's the deal. Jose Iglesias has been good for the Rockies and has been great, but I don't want Brendan Rodgers to be losing playing time at second, for McMahon to be over there at second, and Montero at third, and Iglesias at short, and Toglia at first. That's not what I want. Brendan Rodgers is someone that needs to continue to also be in the lineups, not only because of how good he is, but because of how important it is for him to keep having this experience so he can grow into the future leader of this team that I think he is destined to be. Going to dive into the live chat here, but before we do that, check this out. Trevor Salzman in the live chat says, maybe too soon to talk about this, but I really like the future position players coming up within the Rockies farm system. Tovar, Veen, Romo, Amador, lots of young position players to be excited about. The Rockies indeed have lots of exciting position players coming up. They seem to hopefully be addressing some of the depth there. The farm system is improving. If you already have these exciting prospects, I just don't know why you didn't build around them and just take the lumps on the chin for the rest of the season. With the contracts that you've signed, with the vets that you've already put on, you've already given yourself a good situation to have most of these prospects be up and still play with the core of your team. But you also could have more and more close to MLB ready prospects to replace some of these players or other pieces that you might need. But out of all of those that Trevor listed there, of course, there's a lot to be excited about. Romo, really interesting. Great catcher play, could be such an interesting X factor and wrinkle for the Rockies. But Zach Veen really could be something that's special for the Rockies. Center field is a very important position at Coors Field. The center field, from some of my people that I talk to, they call it the most important position in all of Coors Field is center field. And Zach Veen being speedy, being a threat on offense, soaring through the minor leagues. There are pieces to be very excited about. And Toglia too. I mean, for you to go through and for you to not only be on prospect rankings, but if you're going to be a first baseman in this organization that not only gets the comparisons to Todd Helton, but gets the organization to bring Todd Helton into camp, into the organization again, specifically to get you ready to go, to train with you and other prospects, that is a very important note of how much the Rockies care about developing Toglia as a prospect, how much they see in Toglia, and what better type of mentor and person to work for if the thing you need to work on is striking out less and walking more. Todd Helton can teach an approach at the plate of discipline, and one that can get you looking at the right pitches, swinging at the right pitches, fouling them off, and driving things in for doubles. Todd Helton has had a rocky, post baseball career with some stuff, but I think bringing him into the fold and getting him directly exposed to telling people exactly what it's all about, to bring a mindset and a perception of what good winning Rockies baseball means for the club and the city, and to directly apply that to one of the top prospects is really good. I really like that move. The Rockies do a lot of digging with their vets. They appreciate their history. They want to bring people back that were within the organization all the time. This is one that I really like, and that's one that has to signal the importance or how highly the Rockies think of Toglia to bring in one of the most highly regarded players in the entire history of the franchise to camp directly to work with you, the guy being compared to this guy they brought in directly to help with you. And that says something absolutely about the situation with Toglia and first base for the Rockies. But Toglia is in the lineup tonight. He is batting seventh. And we also didn't talk about the Rockies calling up Sean Bouchard as well. Sean Bouchard is getting a call up here with the Rockies. He's actually already been playing. He's played a couple of games already here. I can't remember when these games were. Back in, what was that, May? Let's see. June. He played in the series against Miami in the last game against San Diego there. A couple of strikeouts and a couple of walks. He's still looking for that first major league hit. So he's up with the club as well, but unfortunately, and really need to take a moment to tip the cap to Wynton Bernard. Who knows what's going to come next? I mean, that the cup of coffee might be over. That might be the only chance for Bernard at this point, but he made it. He was up there. He provided a lot of energy and fun storylines for Rockies fans while he was up. I hope it isn't the last time that he is up with the club. I hope that he can come up and get some more time again, especially with this season, and see what happens. But it's kind of the tough part when you're the older prospects, when you got to see what you have with some of the younger guys as well. But big time tip of the cap and congratulations to Wynton Bernard. I mean, to get where there, to stick up with the team, to impact the team the way he did, really brought some energy and life into the club when they really needed it. Folks, that is going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Rockies. Thank you all so much for tuning in today. Now that you made Locked On Rockies your first listen of the day, why don't you go check out the Locked On MLB podcast, or stay up to date with all things Colorado sports with the Locked On Broncos, Locked On Avalanche, and Locked On Nuggets podcast. You can stay up to date with all things Locked On Rockies right here on the Locked On Rockies YouTube channel, or you can find us on Twitter at LO Rockies, and you can find me at Paul Holden 33. Until next time, I'm Paul Holden saying so long.